Mr. Mayor, you very vividly told us that you come up from a grassroots as a leader of, as I see the map, it is the crown in the Peel region, and you wearing the crown of the Peel region. And as you said, your background is a farmer, and this area is very conducive to the farming. And as you said, you're reaching out to the community, and we offer a channel also to reach out to at least the new farmers coming to this region. But having talked to some of the farmers here, because they have purchased their lands and all this thing, there is a little disconnect on two issues as per my experience. I'm sure you are aware of it. I just want to know what is being done. One is that they are ignorant about what types of farming and what product will be useful, so that they produce and then they contribute to the kitty and for the others to buy. So a little bit of education is on, they need to be informed, at least the new farmers who come from Southeast Asia. And second is they have experienced that although you said, I see the attitude is very good, your staff is helping, there's a little delay, time lag. I know that they are ready to, go for all the mandatory, issues they have to be ironed out. But if it could be, expedited, so as you say, that we need to have a lot of tourists coming here to this region on a farmland and enjoy themselves, because, they are just boxed up into Brampton and Toronto, so that they can, if you can elaborate your policy onto these two things.
And this is why I think it's important, like the Downies and different areas, to have farm markets for people to come and enjoy. Because at the end of the day, all the farmland produces food. It isn't for people to just back in with their car on private property and damage someone's crop just because they want to enjoy the experience. They have to respect, a lot of those crops out there all grow food. You talk about the different kinds of agriculture it is. And I have to say the new group of farmers that are coming here are getting involved with our Soil and Crop Association, which is a group of farmers on what new crops are coming down, how we can do things better. The Peel Federation of Agriculture, has been very opening to a number of groups. We work very closely with the University of Guelph that come out to meet with these different groups, and I know a number of farmers. There's one farmer particularly, he hasn't missed seminars that the University of Guelph put on every summer for farmers to come out to see crops, and he's a really good participant. He's up on Kennedy Road just south of Highway 9, and you know what, he's done a marvelous job fitting into the community, and you got Dale over here that just I shouldn't be mentioning names, but he grows a lot of great vegetables, sells through the Tullamore store. He does a great job, and it's to know the soil types. When you get up into the moraine, you get more of the sandy loamy, which you can grow your carrots, your root vegetables. But down on the Peel Plain, which is the heavy clays, you got to respect that. That's heavy clay soil. You got to respect the soil textures. That was part of the old seabed from Lake Iroquois from about 14,000 years back. It was a sea, inland sea. So, it's productive soil now, but you got to understand, you're quite right, is what soils work with what you can grow, above the ground or in the ground. And you can't grow root vegetables very well on those heavy clay soils, and especially on a year like this, maybe you get a root system of such. But I think it's something to really understand and how to adapt. Our farm community is very engaged, and is to get everybody involved and be part of that organization, and how do we bring those together. And I know some of them have found their way, but there's others there, and I think again the farm community is welcoming. It's just how you bring those groups together to work. Yeah, it's extremely important. And what you said is my whole life I've seen agriculture change so much, and it'll continue to change and evolve. A lot of it's market driven, but I was one of the first ones when I got out of Guelph back in 1980 to really start growing soybeans as a major crop here. To have the confidence to do it. Some experimented a bit, but some of us went in, we're young, we're eager and stupid, and that's what you have to do to make something work. And you look here, it's now a major crop. But, we tried canola here, and down on the Peel Plain, it doesn't work very well. But when you get up on top of the escarpment, the climate's much different, it's much better. And, you know, I know some have tried grapes in different areas, and it just depends on the soil to understand what your soil type is and what you can grow. And we're very complex in our soil types, and I think the soil maps is something that I don't think is being well enough promoted for farmers to come if they're looking to grow certain, you know, they specialize in certain crops, look for where the soil patterns are. And then that way you can figure out where you need to locate.
If it can be little formalized and we can, you know, collect them in certain areas where the experts can guide them.
Absolutely, we do, and we do have an outreach here too, and between my office and the economic development office, if there's farmers saying who do we reach or how we can do that, we're the bridge. Yeah. We'll connect everybody, and that's what we really need to do.
To expedite, you know, in the zoning or some which Brigadier Nawab have raised the question. How about that?
Yes, the zoning is one challenge, and we were way outdated on that, and to get it to match with our official plan. Yeah. And we've got that, most of it updated. Rural Caledon, we haven't got all of it done as we were hoping to, but maybe by September we will. But then we're going through a whole new official plan review, but I think it'll be much easier to make those changes. Again, I want to say that as government, we need to be enablers, not controlling, saying yes, no to everything. Our biggest challenge here is when you look at all the different plans that I have, it's all authorized by the province. Yeah. We do the work here, and to me, as I understand, and I was even asking, and I even had the support of the other two mayors this morning when we were talking to build, is we all got to work together. But the provincial government's got to understand it doesn't have to regulate everything. They can tell us what we need to do. We'll go ahead and do it. We don't always have to send everything for approval. And I think this is where you're asking. A lot of times we get frustrated, especially with Oak Ridge's marine legislation and everything. Our planners are very talented, and they have the ability to make the decisions here. Why do we have to send it off to the province and wait months for a feedback to say it's okay, which we know it's okay? You know, it's
too much of a decentralization.
It is, and I think we need to get it back down, and I'm really hoping the new change of government, if they're wanting to find cost cutting, this is one way you can do it that's not going to put anybody at risk. What it'll do is find the efficiencies for people that are coming in to make the investments can get moving rather quickly. The delay is we get blamed for it, but yet we're just doing as we're told. We're a product of the province. But I think it's time that we've grown up, now we can take responsibility. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's what I'm asking for, is give us the responsibility and we'll direct it out there. My accountability is the voting public. And they know how to find me.
Okay, as a number of people moving in Caledon, because if we see their background, they came out from the place in the farming, from Punjab. They are mostly farming land over there. So people really love the land. Yes. Okay, they're moving in this area, but there is some kind of lack of education. Of your office and also the other side too. Yes. So how that bridge can be, make it narrow to sit down and talk, and how your office will be cooperating, and what you would be sending the message through our SSTV, and what would you say on that?
That is a really good question. And Sandra, I think we've had close to 20 meetings with different groups trying to explain what the legislation is, what we're here. Both Brampton and Mississauga are in urban boundaries. You have a lot more flexibility. You can farm, but you can also have a truck parking lot, which we're under the provincial regulation. We can't. It can only be agricultural production. If the trucks are used for the farm operations, fine, but to have a secondary use is a challenge. It's even a challenge for farmers that are trying to keep their kids at home but are still working off the home. Same justification. You're not alone. And I know a lot feel that they're being discriminated. They're not being discriminated, but if there's a better way to communicate, I know it's a challenge. I've met in basements. I've met in, I guess if we've met over the Bolton Hotel to meet with some groups there. I've met, in people's workshops, driving sheds, car garages, to try to have a group and educate what we're trying to do. We're not here to punish people. We want to educate and help people. You're paying your taxes. You're all citizens here. It's just to understand what you can and can't do. what does the ag guidelines mean on agricultural land? You know, is there an option to have a veterinary clinic or whatever? We're having these challenges all the time, just even with our own public that have been here a number of years. But we need to streamline those processes, and this is something we've started. Unfortunately, it's just as you get down my chart here, it's slowing up. We've accomplished a lot, but we have a lot of work to do. But it is talking on TV here. I really appreciate with both of you asking the good questions that you are, because people need to know. And what we want to do is we're here to help. We're here to serve. We're here to find out how do we make it better. And so, as much as people think it's about education. And to me, is the other thing that I have said to Sandra, my EA, is, you know, we almost need to get the real estate in to give them an education, because a lot of times they're selling the land, but they're not telling the whole story. They want to sell the deal, but maybe people will be more happier to buy when they know what they can and can't do with their property. And this is the challenge, is Caledon's beautiful. We want to keep it beautiful, and I think people want to come in, but they just need to understand what we can do. I know our counter upstairs at planning, we're constantly educating with maps and everything else, and we're trying to streamline that process and how we can do it. And I've even said, as you hit one key point, we have a lot of people in from Punjabi. So then, you know, the challenge is, so do we start putting out documents in Punjabi so that people can read and understand? I guess maybe that's the next thing that we know we've done that with the seniors brochures and different things like that, but maybe this is something we need to do for our land use planning, to start to communicate a lot of the tongues that are coming in. And you look at it, like 36% of people that live in Caledon are from Italian background. Yeah. About 8% is Portuguese, 4% Russian. You know, and then all of a sudden 26% East Asian, and you know, and out of that, I think it's 19% is Punjabi, and the rest is, you know, of all different parts of India and Pakistan and everywhere else. So we need to really understand what are the masses, where the populace is, and are we communicating as correctly as we should? And I think this is something that we're going to have to figure out how we can do better. And with your help, I'm all ears to, you know, because I don't have the answers to everything, but how we can do it better is it's dialogue that.
I've been in media 32 years, so we will be good bridge in between city and the public. And whatever the message you want to convey, we are going to have very soon another English radio station, which will be much easier to communicate with the other community as well. So just a request from the community, as your enforcement reach any place, we request to you to tell them, please speak with respect and get respect back. Yes. Okay. Sometimes what happen in the culture, if you know the background of any culture, you know the person. So everyone want to get the respect, and then they give the respect back to the person asking the respect. Mm-hmm. So this we have to make a little bit our staff, your staff, town of Caledon, according to the people living in the city. Yeah. So this is our very positive approach.
And it is. It's been complaint-based, especially on our bylaws and our bylaw enforcement. And how can we communicate better in that? And it's absolutely is respect from one another. And once that respect is lost, that's when things start to go wrong in a real quick hurry. That is something that we definitely, I hear you, and I think it's something we need to address.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. In fact, I'm quite impressed with your vision that we should be thinking for your grandchildren, not today. I mean, we got to, and that you moving toward that through e-governance and making sure there is so that people can work on their home. And you also quite sensitive to the new, landlords or farmers moving to this community, how to reach with them. Yes, Punjabi is one thing, and we appreciate your outreach and you're trying to reach them. And I'm sure, it'll be a very, very seamless, movement for new farmers to the old farmers commune. There shouldn't be any friction. We only hope that Caledon lives very happily.
You know, I have seen a number of Punjabi farmers coming in, and they've been well received by the farm community. I think other people and outliers that don't understand, don't know, and they probably don't like farmers, period, you know, find that as a threat. But I find that is it's education of, you know, one thing. I think, you know, a lot of people, you know, maybe point fingers at farmers. Well, they're racist. They're not. They're probably the most open, accommodating of anybody. They all believe, we all have their values. It's all about the land and our livestock and doing a good job. And we have that in common, and it doesn't matter what faith or creed. It's the principles that we all believe in is where we find the commonality. I think a lot of it is people that don't have change, don't understand culture. And I think this is the other thing too, is understanding everybody's culture and background. You know, I mean, I'm sure when people want to come in and have parties and get together and all the thing, understand and celebrate that. I'm sure if we walked in, you know, if you had the Scotchman walking into Punjabi and start blowing bagpipes and running around in kilts, you're wondering, oh my gosh, what do the women look like? You know, it's you know, it's a lot of things. You know, you look at the Ukrainian dress; it's very colorful, just like what we see of the Indian culture. We all have a lot in common. It's just to understand, you know, and it's taken us. We just last. A week, I guess almost a week and a half ago, a week last Saturday, we just renewed the treaty. We gave a new wampum belt to the chief of the Mississaugas. You know, they're the treaty holders of this land that of the First Nations. And the challenge is we have yet to understand what they're all about too. So it is not just about the new futures coming in, but we need to respect of who walked this land before we got here. So it's to find that respect for everyone is really, really important.
Just one point onto this, you touched our heart by saying that we owe to the First Nation people here. In fact, we've been discussing a lot. In fact, a lot of people in our community, they are ready to help whatever way. If you can create a little bridge, whatever, you know, First Nation people living here, we want to help them in construction and infrastructure, or even a fundraising and all this thing. We keep giving a call from time to time because
Absolutely.
we owe it to them.
And I think and I thank you for that. And I think that's one way. Is I always say, if you want to communicate with people, break food together, and party together, and everything else seems to be minor. And I really think that's wonderful. And yes. Absolutely. Well, as we go forward, Chief Stacey LaFontaine said to me that, you know what, you're the first municipality that's actually renewed a friendship of, you know, 200 years, 7 generations with a new, and the wampum belt is really that's their contract. So as he said, going forward, so he says every year, let's just renew that thing. Maybe this is another thing that going forward, that since you've put that offer out, let's engage you as well to see how we can bring everybody together. I think that would be pretty cool to do.
We will be happy to serve the First Nation with your help. Okay, sure. As I see broadband network communication, customer service, growth, and infrastructure, we need all things to be improved. And with the help of people, it can be improved. And we really appreciate having a time for us, for our audience, and we will be coming again and again to convey your message in community. We really appreciate any other message which you would like to say.
Well, the only other thing I would like to say is one of the biggest challenges that's not even here that I definitely have heard loud and clear, and we talked about this morning, is finding how our seniors can age in place. A lot of them are sitting, like 73% of our detached homes in Caledon are owned by seniors that have no family there, but they don't want to leave. They want to stay close to family. So what are we doing? It isn't like a senior's home. Why don't we start to build bungalows? They don't need basements. You know, just to find that housing that fits the mark for our seniors, so that we can bring the new generation in, because there's schools and infrastructure is all there. It's just how to keep everybody, finish building complete communities. And I think it's very important. I've heard so much from your community, as many others, saying we need to think how we're going to allow our seniors age in place. they want to be close to home, but we you know, what's the next step? And I know that is a goal that we definitely have to fix for our next term of council. But I think it's the only way we're going to fix that is we all work together. So what I'm just saying is to both of you, thank you for coming today. I know we've had interviews before, but let's make this more frequent, just to communicate with everybody. This is just another tool, and how we can work together, making Caledon so much more special than it is. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
ਹੁਣੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਐਲਨ ਥਾਮਸਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਟਾਊਨ ਆਫ ਕੈਲੇਡਨ ਦੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਹਨ। ਸੋ ਟਾਈਮ ਟੂ ਟਾਈਮ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਿਆ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਸੋ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਹੈ, ਜੇਕਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਟਾਊਨ ਆਫ ਕੈਲੇਡਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਤੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰੀਏ ਟਾਊਨ ਆਫ ਕੈਲੇਡਨ ਦੀ, ਤੇ ਇਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰਨ। ਅਗਰ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਹੋਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਮੇਕ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਰਾਈਟ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਉਹ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੋ। ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਥੋਮਸਨ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਵੀ ਸ਼ੁੱਡ ਐਜੂਕੇਟ ਦਾ ਰੀਅਲਟਰ ਏਜੰਟ, ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ ਵੈਰੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ। ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅਗਰ ਰੀਅਲਟਰ ਹੋ, ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਰਟੀ ਵੇਚਦੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੈਲੇਡਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਖਰੀਦਣੀ ਹੋ, ਮੇਕ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਕਿ ਰੂਲ ਐਂਡ ਰੈਗੂਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਓਬੇ ਕਰੋ ਅਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸੋ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਵੀ ਕੀਪ ਇਨ ਟੱਚ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਵੀ ਹੈਵ to elect right council, so which will be really helpful for the community, for the growth and for the infrastructure. And also keep in mind, we need the greenery, we need the whatever the green belt, because without green belt we cannot have a good oxygen. If we don't have a good oxygen, we don't have a water, the life will not exist. So it is very important to keep the balance. So ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦੇ। ਬ੍ਰਿਗੇਡੀਅਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਐਂਡ ਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ?
ਸਾਡੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਲੰਬੀ ਟਾਕ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਮੇਅਰ ਕੈਲੇਡਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਔਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬੜਾ, ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਨੇ ਔਰ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਆ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਕੈਲੇਡਨ 'ਚ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸਾਡੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਤੋਂ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਮੂਵ ਕੀਤੇ ਆ, ਔਰ ਉਹ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਦੀ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਫਾਰਮਿੰਗ ਅੱਗੇ ਵਧਾਈ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ, ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਸੀਮਲੈਸਲੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਦੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨਵੀਂ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਮੂਵ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਐਡਜਸਟ ਹੋ ਜਾਏਗੀ, ਔਰ ਅੱਗੇ ਦਾ ਉਹ ਕਾਫੀ ਸੋਚ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਆਈ ਐਮ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਕਿ ਕੈਲੇਡਨ ਨੂੰ ਚੰਗੇ ਲੀਡਰ ਮਿਲੇ ਨੇ, ਐਂਡ I feel that Mayor is one of the best leader, and I am really impressed having talked to him, hearing his vision and his compassion to sort out all the problems. Thank you so much.